Do you ever wish that you could own a fuzz pedal just like this one? Well, now you can. Say hello to Mr. Hubcap John and my co-host, John Mulholland. Look at this, the two Johns.
It is. Washboard John sometimes, so Hubcap John and Washboard John together on the same stream.
2-string basses, that's the order of the day, isn't it, mate?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I've done a 3-string bass.
Yeah, I'm thinking of putting another string on my lower end 2-string so I can get like a higher guitar sound, kind of like he did with one of his rigs. He had 2 strings and then a higher guitar string to kind of fill in that whole tritone.
Oh man, I keep looking at basses and saying I don't want to learn. Don't look at bass. I'm a crap guitar player, and I think maybe.
Hey man,
easier.
Did you remember that
scene?
Right? You remember that scene, and it might get loud, where Jack White made a guitar with like a big piece of cable and a pickup, and
That's insane.
Yeah,
I've got a video.
The whole concept.
Similar video. I've got a similar video online somewhere. I think it's on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, we make stuff like this,
Oh yeah. Well, you can start showing, John.
Yeah, there you go. Since I knew he was going to be on, I had to grab a few things like that to have around.
That's cool.
Yes.
Have you seen the ones that Devil and Son do?
Oh yeah.
Mate,
I don't keep up with it much nowadays, but yeah.
I was next to him with Brighton Guitar Show, and his guitars and stuff are insane, absolutely insane. And his podcast is pretty good, to be fair. He's smashing it.
Yeah, I mean, people put a lot of effort into them.
Yeah, I was it that I'd never heard of them until the Brighton Guitar Show. It was mad. Yeah.
Really addictive to play as well.
Oh yeah, they are.
I still haven't got round to actually playing guitar this year. I think I sat down for 20 minutes to film a video the other day, and then.
Hey, there's Mike Rivers. Hey, what's up, Mr. FX? Another cigar box aficionado as well.
Oh, I haven't even got the comments up. Look at that. I'm unprofessional, am I? Oh, we got Reeves in here as well. Hello, Marcus. How's it going?
Marcus, hey.
Oh, man.
Should have had his canjo the other week, is what he said.
Talk about a fun episode. 4 hours long it was.
That was epic. That was an epic episode, man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I learned so much from that.
I got so annoyed with myself because I was trying to listen back to it, but I kept trying to talk and ask questions. I was so interested. It was like interrupting the flow of what he was saying. So it's like missing out on information. Like, what the hell? Oh, Dan Otley. Hello, Dan. How's it going, mate? You all right? Oh, we're getting all the viewers. Building a CBG this week as it happens. There you go. Cigar box guitar. I need to do it. I should do one with an amp inside it. You know, the old noisy cricket or something.
Oh, that would be fun.
Ooh,
yeah, onboard amplifiers are fun to play with for sure.
I've built like 6 amps and I'm having trouble with them. Not one of them works.
Man, you're gonna send me down all kinds of rabbit holes if you keep talking like that. I'm gonna go find the. I've got a guitar that had like 4 speakers in it and like a 5-watt amplifier and a rechargeable battery pack that somebody had built and like played in punk shows for a while. They'd made it fretless and it was weird. It was like an old cheap classical guitar. They spray painted it with a pirate duck and a dinosaur, all kinds of weird stuff on it. So I'm thinking about what I'm going to turn that into.
Oh man, I've never even held a fretless guitar. You don't find many of them over this way.
We got to change that.
Yeah, it's very off-putting because you just don't know where to put your fingers unless you got fret markers on the side.
Yeah, that's what I did on.
It's just really strange to play a fretless.
I don't know how well it translates through my camera, but it's got inlays.
Oh, it's just inlays
for
on
positions.
It, yeah.
I mean, I spent a lot of time on the neck. I'll tell you that. I mean, that's, the can is the can.
Yeah.
The neck is where it's at.
I think I'd have to just buy like a telly neck or something and stick it on.
Yeah, you can do that too. I mean, you can get all kinds of like ready set necks, and they make fretless necks. If you want to do experiment with fretless, like, yeah. I don't know if you guys have access to stuff from All Parts in Texas.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
There's
where I
an
get.
old part 2K as well.
That's where I get a lot of my neck.
Oh, there you go. Look at this.
Hey, there he
Yeah.
is.
Speaking of the devil,
Devil
devil
and
and son.
Sons.
I've literally just been mentioning your guitars, mate.
He was watching on Instagram is why he had to switch because he was making comments over there. Like,
It does it to everyone. I
don't
don't know why
see
StreamYard does that. If anyone from StreamYard ever watches any of these, why don't the comments on Instagram work? Make it work.
I think they're still trying to fix some stuff on Safari. When I logged in this time, they were talking about like certain things they're trying to like smooth out. They were saying like, you know, some things were not available on Safari that were available on other things, and is weird. So it's probably all this cross-platforming.
A fretless bass. Do you know what? I want to play bass. I've decided.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've got a mate who's just started, and
everybody should play bass, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's such a fun instrument. It really is.
My mate was like, I've been learning a little bit. He sent me a video. He's like, all over the place. It's amazing. I was like, shit, he's better than me already. Then he just started playing. It's bad times. Yeah, anyway. So what have you been up to? I don't think you're supposed to hear since last episode 2 weeks ago, is it?
Yeah, it's been pretty strange. I'll tell you. I just had some really bad news today. A good friend of mine and musical collaborator passed away. He'd been battling an illness for a while, and whenever I was posting the promo for this show, so I wanted to take a minute to memorialize Greg Howell Grady, bass player, really just all around fun person to be around. I've knew him for over 30 years, and so yeah, it was one of those things. That's why I'm dressed all in black, and kind of like keeping a little bit of that, the good times in my heart too at the same time. But I'll deal with the sad stuff later.
I feel like I didn't get the memo there. I'm the only one wearing a fucking white t-shirt. You're gonna give me a message,
it's all right. You got to lighten things up every now and then. I mean, I think every other episode we've had, you've been in a black t-shirt, haven't you?
I know, literally every other one. Well, I got this we've got the Birmingham Guitar Show coming up, so I thought I'd best get some t-shirts so people can see the brand.
Yeah,
I'll put it on now and try it out.
Those look awesome, man.
I can't wait for the Birmingham Guitar. It was mental last year, like absolutely mental. So big.
Yeah, speaking of t-shirts, this is one I actually printed myself. I was working at the screen printing shop whenever I had these band t-shirts made for our band.
Huh.
So I actually drew the squeegee on this one.
Cool.
Oh man. Did you get up to anything guitar in the past couple of weeks, or you
I've been giving some different thought experiments to different things, and trying to just sort of figure out where to go next. My nephew is into guitar really big time, and he's got the fortune of having a really world-renowned musician, a guy named Uwe Kruger, who's teaching him guitar. And so I let him take some of my effects out, and let him take the pepper mill that I put the clipping diode section in, the prototype that I made, and Uwe fell in love with it. So I must be onto something. I got a world-class pro musician that likes that sound, and he sent me a little video clip of him playing it and twiddling all the controls and switching the different clipping stages, and because I've got it set up to do asymmetrical with an LED, and then clean, and then symmetrical with germanium.
Yeah, get 10 of them made, mate. Get them out there.
Man, get 10 of me made first, and then might get something done. I need a clone or two. I mean, come on, where's that technology, people?
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for.
What about you, John H? Have you been up to much? I'm going to have to call you John H now, otherwise you're both going to.
Yeah, it's
or you can just call me Wolf or something.
Space Wolf.
Yeah, or Space Wolf. There you go.
Sorry, go on, John.
Just basically working, mate. Yeah, it's I work a day job. Pedals don't pay the bills, so I work
same here, mate.
30-hour week, and then at night sit down in my workshop here and build some nice little pedals for people.
I think that's the same for us all, isn't it? We have
it is, yeah.
There's day Joe and night Joe, like Simon says.
Yeah, you turn up for work like that in the morning.
Yeah, I normally sleep behind my desk. I'll have a row of students stood at attention, waiting to be spoken to, and I'm behind me monitor asleep. Yeah, it's usually the way.
I've normally got a big pile of mats next to me, like, and I'm like that.
Yeah.
I don't actually, just in case any of my bosses are actually watching. Yeah.
If my bosses are watching, I definitely do sleep, and you've probably seen me sleep at my desk load, so I can't deny it.
When I was working in broadcasting, there were times where I literally slept 1 or 2 hours a day, and I would catch myself asleep at my broadcast desk, and somebody like, "Are you going to do the news or what?" I was like, "Oh,
yeah, I'm awake.
Yeah, I'm awake.
I seen you there. Oh, mate, so hard. When did you find the time?
Yeah, you'll sat there and all of a sudden you'll feel your eyes go, and that'll be it. It's like, oh.
Or you blink and you think, how long were my eyes closed and I'll blink?
Yeah, or if you're involved in some boring task, like I was, like piecing together, like, some sort of thing where it's just like, okay, I just gotta, put this together. And before I knew it, it's like the words are getting up off the page and walking off. And I'm like, I need a break.
You're the usual people in here. Wadey, hello, mate. How's it going? And
cheers,
also Dave Barry, another regular. Get in. He actually is still waiting for that pedal that I sent out. It took me forever to send that, the last competition pedal.
Let's hope the Royal Mill doesn't have it in for you this time, like they did with me trying to send you the one I built you.
Well, it's only going to Ireland, Madness.
It'll probably take a couple of side trips through the South Pacific before it gets there, though.
Well, the last package I got actually got delivered to number 1, the next road along. So when they sent me a picture of the delivery, they just ditched it on someone's doorstep that I've never met before.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, John, I seen you posted that the wavy fuzz again. I bloody love that pedal.
Oh, yeah.
I know,
mate.
It's I get so many people. Oh, can I buy it? Can I buy it? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, mate. It's already sold. It's gone to the owner.
You need to get more of them out, like do a line or something of them.
It's like I've had quite a few people ask for them, but I have problems now with using spray paints and stuff like that because I have a skin condition, and chemicals seem to set it off. And
I developed the same problem, my friend. Just years and years of working with it and around it. Now I get bad chemical sensitivities, so I have to use like different finishes.
Comes with working with acetone for 8 years.
Yep.
Look at this. More stuff that's been sent to me and being held up with Royal Mail. There you go.
Choppy G Royal Mail. Oh, geez.
Yeah, always, mate. Oh, I know. Oh, the Fuzzmaster himself, Justin Drawbridge. Every time he posts a picture of one of them Italian covered pedals, like, it drives me mad. So good. Oh man. Yeah. So what's next on the cards, John? What's the next batch? Have you?
Well, I'm currently building that handmade rivet PCB.
I was hoping you're going to mention that.
Yeah.
Did you see it? Did you, Space Wolf? It was your screen's frozen, mate. On my
end. Yeah. I was trying to see if something was going on over here too. It was like something's.
It's definitely mine. It looks like we used to have like blast doors on board that'd stop any electric sparks coming out of a cabinet. And it's made of that like phenolic. Is it phenolic material? Yeah. It's like resin.
I'll stop with.
Oh yeah, phenolics.
See if it'll come back.
Oh. Yeah, it's made of that, and he's like drilled it, so it's like a PCB, and then fitted all the components in. Oh, there you go.
Man, I love that. Yeah.
He's put like all Sprague or Sprague.
Hey,
it's either or. I mean, I'm so past like details on things anymore. It's like.
Yeah,
but you've just done a Germanium version as well, haven't you, John?
Yeah, that's the one. That one. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
One with the big
Mate,
fish.
wait there.
I like that.
Let me get your full screen look at that bad boy.
I dig those transistors too.
Look at them pots.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
MPN geraniums.
The Soviets.
Nice Mullard tropical fish. Yeah, a nice sprog.
Yeah. I was just saying to John when you were off that you had the sprog in there. Love it.
Yeah, I've got a dilemma though. I've got some nice vintage black knobs that I can use for the build. Where are they? They are here. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, nice.
I've got two of them. I've got spare going. Or I had an idea. Now, to know 22mm copper pipe, yeah, you can actually buy copper ends for them to solder on.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And if you
make that with resin.
If you fill them with hot glue and then drill them out, you can use them as knobs.
Yep. I've done something similar where I've put a wooden insert inside of it and then use that to drill in and put my set screw. Yeah, I love taking like the tops off of small airplane bottles of liquor, because they'll have sometimes like really fancy knobs on them, you know, for the top, and then take that, like, you know, have a custom set. Anything that can be put on a potentiometer shaft, I think I've tried at some point or another to put on something. So, you know,
that's class.
Yeah.
Speaking of knobs, I went through quite a few before I chose them ones for that.
I love that design of knob. Those are so class. I mean, when I found those, I bought as many as I could.
I've got a guy, mate. I sent you the link.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, isn't that what Dumble used too? They're kind of like a Dumble style knob.
So 2 seconds, I've got one of them. So he used these ones, which is similar, but
okay, it's a little bit bigger. Yeah,
with a line on and a bigger skirt.
Okay.
Not that I've been down this rabbit hole and anything, but
yeah, the other ones have a chevron instead of a line.
Yeah, and it's sort of like the smaller, quite a bit smaller,
or an arrow, or point, whatever I guess you want to call it. It's not a straight little thing.
I tell you what, though, filming a video for this kit was a nightmare. I messed it up so many times.
I love you left your mistakes in, though, man.
Don't worry about it, mate.
I love the fact you left the mistakes in and like said, I'm going to do it. You had to,
yeah, you got to. But when I was editing the video, because when I was building it, I was like, I messed that up. I'll go back, whatever. And then when I was editing it, all I could think of is John's going to think I'm an absolute amateur here. It's terrible. But
I was like, no, he's done it wrong. No.
I put your 3-pole double throw switch in, and it's just like, I don't understand how this wired up. My brain just couldn't understand the PCB. It's like, which is the in and out and which is the earth. So I just have to do it my way. I can't.
It's a pretty interesting thing, man, because like there were times where when I first started watching your videos, I would see you doing something. I'm like, don't do that. No. And then you'd come back on the video and say, I'm a complete idiot. I did this wrong. And I was like, oh, cool. He did that and left it in on purpose. So I was like, that's great because, that's.
Well, I just feel like it's a bit ingenuous, You see some people are like perfect every time. Like, that's possible, but highly unlikely.
But not realistic.
Especially with me. I mean, I'm terrible with like reading and understanding. I'm just not. I'm a visual learner. So following instructions, even though your instructions are probably the best I've ever seen, I just.
Oh, thank you.
I couldn't do it. Them instructions are amazing. So many people who have said, "What I'm building my first pedal. What do you think I should build?" I always say, get these instructions, because it's like building your own pedal that's custom. That isn't a kit. If you like, even if you bought the kit, it's not a PCB that's printed with numbers on. You're just putting them in. No. You actually have to build it.
It's so people can make it again if they want. All they got to do is buy the components and a bit of Vero board, and away they go.
And the way that you've laid the board out is fantastic as well, because it's so weird the way that you've done it, because normally you go horizontal with the board and that's how everyone's brains work. When I opened the thing, I was like, what the He's just turned it on his head. He took the rule book, threw it out, and now he's just made his own thing up.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you, mate.
Oh,
yeah.
mate.
That's the way I like to operate too, man.
I did it for the ease, basically. And it's just the way I've always made them.
Well, even like the pots lineup. If you've ever watched my videos, I always buy them style knobs with the little tabs on that go in a PCB, and I'm always like, these are meant for the PCB. I don't care. I use them like this, and I bend them over and attach to them. And when I was building it, I was like, this is the fucking first time I've ever used these pots properly.
I mean, it used to be a design feature and everything. You know, the chassis on your amp had little like holes in it for those tabs to fit in, and same thing on like your appliances and stuff. So it's just one of those antiquated designs.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. It does make sense.
It does, especially when you're putting torque on it.
But even just building that kit was a breeze. It really was. I definitely think if you're a beginner and you wanted to build something that's, like you say, repeatable, but also that isn't like cookie cutter paint by numbers, then that would be it. Because people could even buy their own transistors and go, do you know what, I'll add these transistors in it. And the way that you bias it just makes it work. So
yeah, I'd say it's just done for simplicity.
That definitely works. Yeah.
Easy.
Although what I've got to say is actually follow the kit and don't do your own thing.
Yeah, that's follow the instructions.
Don't follow my video. Follow the instructions. Definitely
instructions.
You can watch Joe's video on a tutorial of how not to build a Hubcap John kit.
That's what I should have titled the video.
How not to build a Hubcap John 10K.
That would have been amazing.
But yeah, I did five tin kits after your video, and pretty much went straight away. I've just got one left.
There you
one
go.
That doesn't want to go.
Anyone who's watching this now, I would be on Instagram already messaging John for that kit because I mean, I've built a lot of fuzz pedals and I've played a lot of fuzz pedals. This sounds expensive. It's weird. The cheap ones you can tell are really cheap, and it's like the new fuzz bender from Behringer. That sounds expensive. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprised me.
It comes back to being like in complete control of the manufacturing process, you know, from start to finish, component to finished product.
Real odd choices in that, by the way. They've got all SMD, but then a few full-size caps, like the electrolytics are through hole, and some of the film caps are through hole, which is odd.
Well, probably because they're like integral to the sound. They're probably in the filtering of the audio stage rather than like just electrical stage. So
all the transistors at SMD though. If you're gonna go as far as
that's weird,
anything,
that is weird.
Yeah,
of course, you know that's
mind.
one of those things that they talk about all the time. Maybe when we have Brian on next time, he can fill us in on some of that because he talks a lot about a transistor. Just is basically doing these things, and these are the parameters that matter. So if they've figured out how to get an SMD component that matches those parameters, then hey, more power to them, I guess. But
they sound amazing.
Choice, isn't it?
Yeah, I find that. I did well. If you look at like Marcus Reeves, if you look at his pedals, he'll use new everything and then vintage transistors. Because then he's got complete control over the whole thing.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on the vintage to new components then, John?
Most of my builds, I tend to try and use vintage transistors. Yeah. In the kits, I've used sort of newish vintage ones, but I try to use vintage transistors. It's mainly all Russian stuff for the germaniums. It's just so good.
Consistent, aren't they?
Very consistent. Yeah.
I try and keep away from all the mullards and and that because they're just too expensive, and you've just got to buy so many to find the decent ones. and it's just gets too expensive.
Yeah. I know you want consistency with the kits, because if there's inexperienced people building them, it like takes that dimension of pain out the way, you know.
Yeah.
Especially if they're doing it for the first kit. I mean, I'm so much of a nut. I would go for vintage knobs. If I could get vintage zip ties, I would. There you go. You know, if anyone's watching this wants to sell some vintage zip ties,
I've got some. I do. I mean, I seriously have some. My dad never threw anything away, man. I've found stuff that was like, I found zip ties that were made in the 1960s.
There you go.
I seriously have vintage zip ties. I mean,
I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you what, speaking of vintage, did you see that last video I put out about the fuzz bender? I tried it with my memory lane, the fuzz and treble booster. What a pedal.
I haven't seen that one yet. Yeah.
Mate.
Yeah.
It basically, it just said every mod you've ever done, Joe, and this pedal that you've just spent 50 minutes filming a video or whatever it was is crap. You should have just bought this. It was amazing. Like I've played it a few times just on its own. I've never really like compared it to anything. And when I started plugging it in next to other pedals, it's just like the boost on that makes everything sound better. Any pedal in the world.
That's the good thing about a good boost, is it makes every pedal that you run it through sound, you know, better. It's like that pedal, but you know, more, for whatever, you know, lack of a better explanation. It's more goodness, you know.
More goodness.
Yes.
Oh, anyway, yeah. And Hobo Roadie says, I'll get it up. Much to be said for a good ground plane. He did correct that.
I saw it pop a food ground plane. What? And then I said, good. I was like, yeah.
Oh man. Speaking of grounds, I just went to test the pedal to ship out, and I don't know what I was doing the past couple of days, but I hadn't attached any of the grounds, not one. So I was like, why isn't this thing working? Started trying to trace it. I was like, oh, not one single ground attached. Well done, Joe. God knows what I was doing with that.
I wanted to ask you, John, when you're like putting your holes into your tobacco tins, like what process do you use? Do you use like a punch of some sort, or do you like just step drill it with a backing?
No, you just grip it and rip it.
Grip it and rip it.
Yeah,
I'd lots of people saying block on wood.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to pilot drill the hole first, put a 3mm hole in, and then you just take your time with it. Yeah,
it's just because sheet metal is such a tricky thing. I mean, especially
a lot of burrs sticking out the back of them, and
it can grab the edge of your flute really quick too, and like take off. I've had some really nice vintage tins
on and go to town.
And I try and always have like a sacrificial backing now too, so it doesn't have something to like, you know, like just if I keep trying to drill through the same pilot, you know, hole in my backing block after, you know, I found that like creates more burrs that I have to clean up. So but
there was a lot of comments about drilling the tobacco tin on my video. I didn't even drill it. I went brave enough. It seems like quite a divisive subject.
It's just you know, you drill it and then basically you just clean it up afterwards. Get a little grindstone or something, you know, it goes on a drill, and then you just grind the backs of them down and just make it clean.
That's a really good tip. Like get one of those ball grindstones, like a die grinder.
That's what I use.
Like, I'm going to do that on the next set that I have like that, because I've been using a deburring tool, and you get warpage and all kinds of other stuff. That sounds perfect, because then you can have it against a flat mandrel, and it just like, you know, flattens everything out with the pressure. That's hey, I've you know, come away with a very valuable tip from just asking that question. Awesome. I'm going to try that.
I was thinking about making like a multi-effects pedal with loads of pedals. And when I was looking at this, it's like a square biscuit tin or a rectangle biscuit tin. You can make like a multi-effects tobacco tin. That'd be class.
Yeah. A few years ago, I did have a customer approached me for a hubcap multi effects, but for some reason we lost contact, and basically he never got back in touch with me.
Oh,
But I've actually got it here. It's actually a bit
oh
dusty.
yes.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, mate.
Basically,
That's a UFO. Yeah. Now I gotta go. I haven't put anything in this one yet, but now I gotta go grab
a tube scream and a fuzz
in
there.
I feel like if you ever do any guitar shows, mate, that is the centerpiece that you need to take with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you not thought about doing any guitar shows?
I would do, but I do suffer with severe anxiety, so it would completely utterly freak me out.
My wife couldn't go to it. Go to like one of them meets. No way. She wouldn't last 5 minutes in there.
Yeah, this is my musical hubcap, but I haven't put an effect in it.
Oh man.
Yeah, I've just beaten on it quite a bit on recordings. Like it makes a.
Ooh, you just reminded me of something. I mean, just a second.
Oh man, I'm feeling left out. I need a hubcap.
Everyone needs a hubcap too.
A nice, a brass hubcap.
Yeah, love that. That's
that is
awesome.
a really. I'm not sure what the age is, but it's a set of. I think I've got a set of 4 or 5 of them.
Oh, cool.
And if you're into it, you can get a sound bar and rub it around, and it actually starts to sing,
like a singing bowl.
Yeah, like a singing bowl. Yeah, but yeah, they are really awesome. They are. Yeah.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah, I feel like you should be making a cast of that one for enclosures.
Yeah. I just saw the light bulb go off over your head.
No, I've still got a load of fuzz face enclosures I've got to get rid of.
Mate, I'm here. I'll take a few of them off your hands. Definitely, they were amazing. I built one of them with an octave fuzz in it, and I give it away. I think I give it to Motor Music or something like that in Cardiff. Yeah, I bought a guitar from them. It was amazing, and I was like, "Thank you so much," and sent them a pedal. And it was the one that I was meant to be keeping, and I wish I'd have kept it now.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm hoping that my nephew gives me my pedals back, especially the prototype I sent him with.
I still got the original prototypes that I did of the fiberglass ones.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh yeah. I love that diamond plate.
That's actually that's cold cast.
It's all cast. Cold
so
cast.
It's got cold cast. Yeah, it's got I think it's bronze powder in it. In the epoxy.
Yeah, I used to work in a factory that did that. It was a place called Osbin Manufacturing, and we'd use bronze and copper powder and mix it with acrylic resin, and cold cast in. That's pretty cool.
Give it won't show up in here, but you give it a rub and it starts to shine up.
Yep.
You can see.
Oh wow! How strong is it?
It's really strong.
It's strong.
I feel like there's a YouTube video there somewhere learning how to do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting stuff. I love cold cast. It's like you've heard of the rhinestone Strat, haven't you?
Rhinestone Strat, no?
Yeah, sounds familiar.
A guy called John Douglas made 6 originally in about 1972, and it's it's cold cast, and it's got like flourishes on it with little rhinestones in the body.
Ah, right.
He made them for Fender Music. In 1972, I think it was. He made 6 of them, and then they sold 2 from the shop, and then the shop burnt down and burnt the other 4.
Oh no!
Only two original ones. Yeah. And then 14 years later, he got commissioned to do another 50.
And so the first 2 are worth a bomb now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Basically, there's a bronze plaque on the back of it saying the number of 50, but there's only between, I think it's 17 and 25 that were made of the 50. So if you find one, which is probably doubtful, but they are really gorgeous.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just can't get on with a Strat. There's just something about the ergonomics. I love the look of it, love the sound. Jimi Hendrix, probably one of my favorite guitarists. I just can't do it. I need to rest my hands on the bridge, and the neck's too long.
Yeah. The bridge design was the one thing that kind of turned me off to it. Like until I started, coming up with some different saddle solutions and things for my Strats. Those adjustment screws always were poking into the back of my hand, just with my picking style, and but I just would suck it up and deal.
Shorter screws.
Yep, that's
so
what I would
basically
do.
maxing it out right at the bottom of the saddle.
Exactly.
And then it just gives you a nice clean surface to put your palm on.
Yeah, I actually started switching from stamped saddles to solid milled saddles to replacement Goto saddles that were solid brass, and that helps a lot. Because they have a smoother edge on them.
Can't remember who made my saddle. Mine's a hardtail anyway. It's 77, I want to say. Yeah, I just can't. I had to get a Strat for guitar shows, but it's too long. I'm a short arse, so it feels like it's miles away from me, and then the bridge is a pain. And I don't know.
And you want to play bass?
Yeah, short scale. I was thinking about getting one of the Mustang basses. I've thought about this quite a lot. You can get a vintage Mustang bass for not all that much money.
Yeah, they're nice too.
Get one. Yeah.
And I've got an excuse to get a bass amp. I really, who knows? Now I've got this space. I feel like I need to fill it with gear.
There you go.
Oh man. Yeah. So John, I really want to ask you about some parts of this pedal kit that you sent me. Like the caps. You went with orange drop caps. Is there something behind that?
No, I just the original kit is just basically just basic good components. I was just chucking them in there because I had them, hanging around. I've got drawers full of them. So there's
oh yeah,
that's one of them. I've got loads of vintage stuff. I don't use as much as what I should do. But, it's just keep going through them.
Do you notice a difference between these and say the newer caps, or sometimes when you're using the older stuff?
Yeah, sometimes it's just the older stuff just seems to be a tad little bit more trebly. Yeah, I can't say trebly, more clear. It gives a bit more note definition to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely hear that.
Yeah. It's like
I
like the. Yeah, go on. Sorry, go on.
No, go on, mate. I'm off on a tangent. You keep going.
Yeah, it's like I love the is it the K40Y9s? Is it? I can never remember the top ones.
407 -Y. Yeah, K407. Yeah. Oh, you got a box of them.
Oh wow!
I've just had 10 boxes of them, mate. I love them.
I've just had the vision of JHS. He has the box.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's class. Yeah, they're the bad boys.
They're excellent. 10 nanofarad, perfect for fuzz faces.
Well, I've found a shop out in Ukraine that sells them to the UK. It takes like a month.
I use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only bought a couple because I was like, I'm definitely getting robbed. I thought it was having me on, so I was like, not too sure about this. But I ordered a few and they did turn up.
Yeah, I buy the germaniums from there as well.
Which ones you go for?
I have been going for the GT 308Vs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which are nice, but I've also bought some other ones which are quite nice as well. I can't remember what they're called. They are.
I think the MP38As are the NPM ones that I've had luck with in the past, but
GT 309G.
GT309G.
Yeah, they are minute.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. I'm trying to get all one now.
Oh, Aaron's on Albus Band. Cheers, mate. Sexy fuckers.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
It's like a
they
really
are
super flat UFO.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like that. Man.
For size comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is tiny compared to the.
Actually, speaking of which, Justin sent me a load of transistors, and some of them are like massive. You know the ones that Analog Man uses. They calls them Bart or whatever. Big arse.
Yeah.
I don't know what it stands for, but he sent me a load of them. Normally they don't test all right though. The bigger ones. I don't know what it is.
Are they ones that were like photo resistors too?
No, they look like honestly, they look like rounds.
I know, but
they look like they come out of a weapon.
I think they. That's what I was thinking. Like, they were ones that were supposed to be photo transistors that didn't meet the parameters, and they just like covered. We talked about that at one point. I think he was talking about how like there was these things that looked like rocket ships that.
Yeah.
The dome was originally supposed to be for the lens, so the light would pass through, and so they would just like cover it with a coating and then pass it off as a regular transistor. That's why they're so inconsistent.
Well, Mullard did that as well.
Yeah. I remember like when we were talking about those things, we were geeking out about transistors and rocket ship transistors, and he said something about it being like an old photo transistor that didn't match their specs, so they would just throw it into their transistor pile.
I've had luck with the OCP 7.1s for photo transistors, the Mullards.
Oh yeah, those things are neat.
So you get about a 30% pass rate of what's good and bad, so it's not super high or anything. But when you get a good one, they are good, Yeah, I think Marsden Amplification uses them in his treble booster. I don't know where he's got so many of them from because I haven't been able to source them out. Like,
you just find those stashes every now and then, and you grab them when you can.
Yeah, mate, definitely.
Yeah. Like what Marcus was talking about, like whenever he, should have bought the whole lot.
Yeah, I haven't gone on a transistor binge for a while. I need to do it. I kept saying, I haven't got the space for them, but now I really have. So maybe we'll see how we get on in Birmingham Guitar Show and go on a mission.
Hey, the Death Dealer's in the chat again. Good evening.
Hello, mate. How's it going?
Yeah. But it's one of those things that's like that season, like spring yard sales and stuff like that. I'm going to start like going around and just seeing what I can find, looking for old electronics too, old radios, old transistor technology stuff from the good old days.
Few and far between by me. You don't really see, like, there's a car boot sale. Do you have them in America? Car boot sale?
Oh, we have garage sales.
Yeah,
I mean, we have like people that set up booths permanently where they have like every weekend you go and somebody comes in and they have a table and it's basically just stuff that they've collected or bought at other places and resold. It's kind of a Southern American tradition. So
yeah. Like the ones by me are terrible. If anyone's watching who goes to them, you need to book your ideas up. We've got a super chat.
Clean.
John Pardo, you really don't need to super chat, mate, but thank you very much. He says, where would you suggest a complete amateur get vintage transistors from? Germanium and or silicon. eBay seems risky. Build them for personal use.
So
there used to be a place called Vintage Components, and it was run by, I can't remember the guy's name now, but it's disappeared. And
I would suggest Small Bear. He's really reputable. Steve Daniels at Small Bear Electronics has a good stock of vintage components at any given time. If you're ordering in the US, I don't know about in the UK because like
Bitsbox in UK.
Bitsbox are good. Or there's a guy on eBay called Landgraf, is it?
Landgraf, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And
John's ordering from the UK, so
there you go.
Yeah.
He says he's in the UK. Yeah.
Yeah, because it wouldn't be worth like trying to order from the US and have them clear customs and all that. If you've got a good source in the UK, your shipping is going to be way cheaper too.
If you want me, if you send me a message on Instagram and tell me what you're building, I'll link you to some good transistors. In fact, if you're only building a couple, send me your address and I'll send you some. That's it. I'll cut out the middleman. That's a much better. I'll send you some now, and I'll test
you my address.
I've got loads of stuff that I'll probably never get around to using. That's like definitely be good for the beginning.
Same here. We're
all hoarders.
I'm looking around at my hoard right now.
Well,
like, oh, goodness.
Like we said, like Marcus said, and like we were saying, if you find something that's good, buy every single one of them and ask questions later.
That's it.
The second
you find it. Is...
I used to be able to get NKT 678, which are, I mean, I know everyone likes the 275, but the 678, they've got the same script logo on. They look amazing. They all tested amazing, and I was buying 10 at a time, 15 at a time, and then there was none left, and now I can never get them again. So, oh, there you go. John says he's got a tester now. So, yeah, absolutely, mate. If you drop me a message on Instagram, I'll with your address in, I'll pack up some transistors and send them through. Cool. He says he's breadboarding. Are you a breadboarder? Are you, John? Are you a breadboarder?
Sorry. Oh yeah. I've got a breadboard. Yeah, I do breadboarding. Breadboarding is not a crime.
I just, it's not for me. I can't. I don't know if it's my brain because it's not permanent. I just don't pay attention.
Oh,
there you go. Look at that.
That's a nice breadboard.
Wow, you've got a real setup there.
Yeah.
Did you make it yourself?
Of course he did.
I did.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I saw like your Instagram post when you were working on building that or working on something on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always buy them and then never use them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you set up something like that, it's there, it's permanent.
Yeah.
And you just use it as you need it. It comes in so handy for so many different things.
I suppose you could build up a circuit and then just put the transistors and see where you are.
Even for me positive ground germaniums, I've got a little I don't know if it's hanging around here somewhere. Probably is. I've got a voltage inverter board that I normally put inside the pedal. So it converts the positive ground, the negative ground to a positive ground.
And
basically I've got like 2 bits of copper wire that sticks off the bottom of it. I just stick it into the breadboard and then put that into the power and set up for PMP transistors.
Without having to swap everything out and reverse all your polarities. That's cool.
I can't do with the messing of I think it was the op amp. What amp is it? A max what something or other that you're using?
Max, 1044 is it?
Yeah. I've never had any good luck. They either short out and take the transistor with them, or I've tried that so many times, and even just for me, I mean, I've got an R2R electric germanium range master, and I've made several of them for that because I want it on my board, but obviously reverse power, and it just never ever they never work for any length of time. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Voltage inverter board that I designed. Well, I didn't design it, just put it onto PCB. Basically, that sits in the back of a.
Oh man,
pedal.
That's tiny as well. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what I did in the end? I realised that I used a gig rig system that's all isolated. So if I just put the positive in a negative and the negative in a positive, it's isolated from everything else. I actually don't need it. Like 20 of them inverters I must have went through before I realised that. Like, Joe, you are an idiot. But yeah, I don't know. What about, do you do that with your range masters and stuff that you sell? Is that the standard way you do them, or?
Yeah, they go in my range masters because all my range masters are positive ground.
Germanium.
Germaniums. Yeah. And basically, have you seen that I use the little sockets for the transistors? Have you seen them? They're actually 240 volt connectors for PCBs. So see live, neutral,
yeah.
But basically, they're just perfect for
can cap. Yeah, or I mean a can transistor.
You just got a screw turner on top. Yeah, no soldering.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It also lets the customer, if they want to, in the end,
change them,
source their own. See if they wanted a Mullard OC44, just buy one, change it over, rebios. I've got a rebiosing video somewhere on my YouTube.
That's fantastic.
The set, yeah.
I tell you what, that would be good for. Not that I'm trying to steal your ideas. Guitar shows. You could have one set up and a bag of transistors, and people could just come up, play a little bit, or change that out.
Yeah.
What a gimmick that would be.
I did actually think, because you can get the multi-throw switches with 3 poles on them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
A couple of transistors, different transistors on them, and then wire that into the socket so it can flick over to a different transistor whenever you want.
And all you'd have to do is run a specific resistor from each collector to ground, and you could bias them straight there on the actual transistor.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd work a treat. Wow. Yeah. I feel like we've just designed a pedal between us there.
Whose idea was that?
and by we, I mean John. Have you been doing much designing lately, or have you just been building classic circuits?
Just building classic circuits. I don't really design much. The last bit of design I did was the El Duderino. But yeah, I just tend to build good classic circuits with good components. I like to sell them for not an expensive price, but a fair price.
I think you sell them too cheap myself. I'm not lying. It drags us all. You make us all look bad. I say this all the time.
You're going to start sending me hate mail now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Increase the price of your pedal.
He needs more trolls. We need more trolls. Yeah. Come on.
Have you seen how many trolls my last video got? I think there's one where a guy made 20 accounts.
20 accounts just to troll you?
It's the same guy because he's got really bad English, and like the language I can tell is that like I'm very into like little idiosyncrasies about language, and he's using the same ones on different accounts. And one of the posts is like 30 comments, and he went through and commented on every other post, basically calling me out. I was like,
so you got an AI that's got it out for you, is what it is.
Don't need the trolls.
Your AI pissed off another AI is what happened. Like
it couldn't be AI, mate. There's too many grammar mistakes.
The battle of the bots.
But it is quite funny because I'm with trolls. I like to be really kind. I just don't care. Every time you comment, I'm getting comments on my video. Yeah. But I always answer with a question. That's my policy on YouTube. You say something on one of my videos, I'm answering you with a question, because then I might get another comment, and it all helps the algorithm god or whatever.
Exactly.
But this guy he just wouldn't stop. He'd just come back and say, "You're a wanker," and I'd be like, "So."
Class.
But instead of saying it, he put it all in one word with a hashtag in front of it, so then you have to read it, and the algorithm, they wouldn't censor it. But I'd be like, "So do you like custom pedals? Can you hear the difference?" And he'd be like, "I hate you." Yeah, okay, that's good. So about the guitar tone, like nothing there.
Yeah, it's a bot.
It was heartwarming to see how many people were getting annoyed with him. That wasn't me. So there you go. And so many messages like, "Who is this guy?" Like I was like, maybe it's my ex-wife.
It's like the Jeremy Stevens of the comment world. Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, I don't know. But he went through all of my videos and like called me out on them all. I was like, well, that was nice of you. I've got some more polarizing ones coming up now, though.
Oh yes.
I'm building an Echoplex booster. What are they? The exotic EP boosters.
EP booster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In fact, I've done it. Where is it? Lost it. What annoys me about the EP booster is the switches are on the inside. I got like, who puts the switches on the inside? I can't get to them. So
excuse me. Oh, I like the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
It's a kimono that I got from Japan when I was on there.
Yeah.
It's just
Awesome.
There's no way my wife would let me wear that, so I was like, right, it's going on the chopping block. I don't know. But yeah, I filmed a video of that, and I've made it a lot. I used Jimmy Page for like the artwork and put Jimmy Page's boost. So there'll probably be 50,000 people telling me that you used the real Echoplex and not the pedal. I know. But what are you going to do?
Hey, those are magic words, like, Jimmy Page, put those two words together, and
I know.
People are gonna make comments. It's like trying to say Jimmy and Hendrix, or Stevie and Ray and Vaughn, or
Well, I did the Stevie Ray video, didn't I? The tube screaming. It's got 8,000 views in like 3 weeks or something stupid like that. It's insane.
That's good, that is. Yeah.
I'm terrible at this. Marketing, visualizing, design.
It must be Zeitgeist. John Pardo just pointed out, like, he couldn't have announced that at a better week. Have you seen Becoming Led Zeppelin yet? There's like a documentary. No. Yeah, there's like some new film. I just saw like a blurb for it, and I was like, "Ooh, what's this about?" And then like, so there must be some like Zeitgeist happening, like where these things are. Because the Stevie Ray thing, like for whatever reason, suddenly there was a lot of Stevie Ray interest right around the time we did that video.
Yeah.
And
wow.
Remember the Electra? Like I started doing the flash drive thing, and Josh started releasing the whole Short Circuit series at the same time on the Electra. I was just like, whoa, it's like, what's happening here? Are we all like tuning into the Matrix simultaneously and like starting to go with like, the flow somewhere?
Here's one Hobo Road. He said you could hire people to drive traffic to your website. Believe me, mate, I did. I hired a guy, and it was costing me 350 quid a month for SEO and some other bits. He's pretty high end. So my father-in-law works for this guy, big businessman. And he put me in touch with him. He said he does all of my SEO, and he's obviously doing well out of it. But he was just so high end, and I think my business model just weren't matching with it. And so when I stopped paying for that and started doing my own YouTube, all of a sudden I was getting more traffic and orders. So kind of just trying to learn it myself. I mean, what I should have really done is spoke to you, John, because you're like the ultimate when it comes to design.
Oh, me? Oh, I thought you were talking to John.
No, I told you to get confusing. I've seen some of the logos you've done for people and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his designs are awesome.
Yeah, I've got about 20 years of design experience under my belt. I did 12 of those years working for an automotive company. So yeah,
is that where the hubcap comes from?
No. The hubcap that comes from a good friend of mine. He's not around here. He moved down to Cornwall. He was like, because at the time I'd built this 3-string slide guitar out of just a plank of wood and a Jack Daniels can. And he was like, I've got some 1940s Ford hubcaps. I've got a set of 8 of them. If you build me a guitar, you can have the rest of the hubcaps. So that's where Hubcap John came from. And
there you go.
That's where my hubcap addiction came from as well.
It sounds really hipster, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's. I've still got a few of these.
Hipsters ruined everything for us, man.
That's class. Yeah, but the design work is fantastic. I mean, we used to have like a Instagram account called the Guitar Cartel, and I was trying to build that up to a following. It's like just a group of us who used to chat guitar, and John did the logo for it and mugs and stuff. It was unreal.
Oh wow!
But you made that logo in about 5 seconds flat as well.
It's just you get to the point that you just see something, and then you just draw it on the program that you use, and it's just
Yep,
it's having natural instinct.
Yeah, having those tools now that where you can just like take your ideas and put them into reality is so much easier. I still miss the days of like, pulling out my drafting equipment and my French curves and everything and doing it the old school way. But just whenever I can get on a computer interface and do it that way, it's just like, oh yeah, I would have been, in the studio for hours doing just this one part here otherwise. So
Hobo Roadie said he's referring to my
good luck with the troll.
Weird look with it.
Yeah.
Fair play, mate. Yeah. I just couldn't believe it. My father-in-law kept messaging me like, what is it? What's he on about? Like, I don't know. I literally don't know what he's talking about. It'd be like, I'd ask him a question and he'd just be like,
apparently
I
he
hate
didn't
you.
either.
Or whatever.
Yeah, he didn't know what he was talking about either. So that's the problem. He didn't know what he was talking about, and he was upset about that.
Yeah, I think his original comments had said something like, well, you fucked that pedal up. Like, what? Oh, I love it.
Plenty of those,
well, I mean, somebody made a comment about something. They said, that sounds like ass. I was like, that's the point. I made it to sound bad. It's like I'm looking for the dirtiest, nastiest sound I can possibly get out of this. That's a compliment. You said it sounded horrible. Great. Yay.
I love it. The biggest offensive comment was when he said, I can't hear no difference. Like, now I'm upset. First of all, you said it sounded like shit. Now you're saying it sounds no different. That's bad times.
Well, you're saying they both sound like shit.
Yeah.
At that point.
I disagree because that Behringer Fuzz, that sounded good.
Exactly.
Honestly, I don't know how they've done the enclosure for the price of it. It's like 50
Crazy.
quid. I paid that for the enclosure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's controlling everything from the manufacturing of the components all the way to the assembly. It's all in Behringer City in China.
Yeah. As the other week, as Fuzz Craze said, he'll be I bet he'll be making some soon.
He should do. Mm-hmm. He should buy all of their new pedals and cast a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do it.
I mean,
I tell you one thing he's got is
can't do anything to him.
No, can he? No way. And one thing he's got over Behringer is they put loads and loads of like stands on it. They've cast the actual screw positions, so it's really hard for a DIYer to buy the pedal and gut it because you've got to file out or cut out all of the stands.
Just Dremel the bits off.
Well, that's what you'd have to do. Yeah, but that's a pain.
I'm gonna tap out for a second and run to the bathroom real quick, guys.
All right, mate. No worries. Yeah, I think I wouldn't mind having a go making some enclosures or something like that, but I feel like it's a lot to take on at time.
It is
time wise.
Yeah,
and it's probably not sensible to go that way,
Yeah.
We are, John. I've got a question for you. Yeah, exactly. What's the picture in the background behind you?
Can you see that?
Yeah. Wait there. Let me put it.
It's a. Oh.
There you go. Look at that.
It's a cheap Temu wall hanging. It's just covering up the back of my workshop. Yeah, about 4 or 5 quid from Temu.
That's class. Yeah, I bet you that helps with the sound as well.
Yeah, it's just covers up the back part of my workshop, and cause it's a dark hole back there. But, I mean,
have you got boxes and boxes of like components and stuff of it?
Yeah, just boxes of stuff. It's my workshop. My wife thinks it's a personal space she can put stuff in, store. It's like no, it's not coming in.
I got a new door on mine because it was a garage store. Yeah. Fitted a new door and unlocked it, so now it's just a workshop.
Yeah, yeah. I've got one key to a workshop. It's on my keyring.
It's so different having your own space, isn't it? Like, what a game changer!
It is
just to have somewhere to go.
I mean, probably like myself. At one time I used to work in the kitchen on the sides. Yeah, and stand there and
dining table for me, mate.
Yeah.
It's bad.
It got to the point
It ends
where
up
the wife
with little
was like,
bits all
"No,
over the house.
you've got to go into the shed." So I sat in a 6 foot by 8 foot shed for a few months, and then that pedal show dropped with one of my fuzzers on there, and things just went completely mental. So with the money that I made off it, I bought myself a bigger workshop.
That's class. It just shows you the power of that pedal show, really. I mean,
it's amazing what you can do for someone. Yeah.
I tell you what, I bet you the show last Friday. Hello, mate.
Hey,
I bet you the show last Friday helped Marshall sell 100 of them amps.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I want one now. I'm usually, my tastes are usually aligned with Dan quite closely. You know, if Dan's reaction is that he loves it, I can buy it sight unseen, and I know I'll like it. Or if it sounds good on the show, I know how it's going to sound for me. And when he starts playing that amp inside, I was like, please don't sound good. Please don't sound good. I've now got space for another. Yeah.
And if your wife's watching, he's not buying another amp. He's not buying another amp, Mrs. Joe.
Well, I think they're like $3,500, aren't they? The new Marshalls.
They're up there, yeah.
Yeah.
But to be fair, if I was going to buy the parts to make one out of good components, it cost over $1,500 for the parts, wouldn't it? So you think, well,
now
they're the original.
Are the new ones? Do they have PCBs in them, or are you talking like the all point-to-point ones?
So some are point-to-point, and some are PCB.
Avoid the PCB is what I've heard, like the PCB amps. And also this holds true for any PCB amp that's like a tube amp. They have PCBs in the shop that I used to work out of. We had to repair those like all the time, and a lot of it was the components would just not hold up to the voltages and temperatures the same way. And also vibration. There was a lot of vibration problem, especially because a lot of our customers were cranking up to 11, and just pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, putting it on giant cabinets that were vibrating everything. And just the sheer like vibrational force would break solder connections and traces. And they're skimping on their components a lot of times. Is what we found, especially if they just run wires to your pots instead of putting them on a PCB. That would save so much. John says he's tempted by that amp, but he's got the HDRX 20. That's the Hendrix one that they manage to get all the Hendrix's plexi to like model that out of, like scale it down. I'm not sure.
I was so tempted to get one of them when they come out. And with amplifiers, I'm like a woman with shoes. I can't help it. I've just got something. I could have 100 amps on one guitar. I'd be more than happy.
I'm the opposite. I could have one amp and 100 guitars.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I
don't know what it is. Three decent amps, and that's it.
Yeah, you get all the amps, I'll get all the guitars, and we'll get together and have a jam session. That's what'll happen.
Sounds good to me. What amps have you got?
I've got the oldest one I've got is a 1973 Gem Venus hybrid valve silicon amp.
That's a nice one.
Oh wow.
It needs to go into the shop though, because it's not working at the minute.
Yeah, it's how many years old?
I've also got a
over 50 now.
Yeah, it's older than me.
It's older than me. Well, no, it's not older than me. I'm older than that. Damn. Yeah. I'm a 1969 model. So.
Yeah. I've got a Blackheart BH5 that I bought as just a PCB. Basically, I built
the aesthetics of them are probably the best amps. Yeah.
Built MDF cab, new chassis for it, and then I bought a Tayden True Brit 12-inch 16 ohm speaker. And they are very sought after speakers now, because
they are.
We went out of business a few years back. and they sound absolutely amazing.
Was it a victim of the pandemic?
No, it was before that. I think
just victim of the economy, probably.
I think he just ended his company for some reason.
Well, sometimes that happens too. I know people that they were going along just like clipping successfully, and then suddenly they disappear, and like, what happened? And you find out like either some personal tragedy or they just got sick of it. It's like Leo Fender. He decided that at that one point when he looked at his keychain and he had like, I don't know how many 100 keys to lock up the buildings at Fender, he says, this is out of hand. That's when he sold, and CBS took over.
So such a shame that Tweed Baseman. Do you know what? I've never owned a Tweed Baseman, funny enough. Oh, Lenson Guitars. Has anyone seen his guitars? Oh my Lord. He's got a pinstripe one that's just on another level. Also started building effects pedals. He's just finished a few Range Masters too, I think. And he's sending me one. So there's
love a good Range Master.
He's built oh mate, love it. But he's building them on like amp tag boards with full size components. He asked me a few questions about the first one, and I was like helping him out a bit. And then I was like, fuck it, you weren't meant to build one better than mine.
I'm with Marcus down there, high watt 40. High watt T40.
Oh mate. Well, he's got the 212 combo, hasn't he?
Range Master.
There it is. Wow.
Got that. Oh, nice.
That's one of the.
I like those terminal connections.
Oh, and you.
Yeah.
That's class.
That is class. I'm having to look over on my big screen. I'm going back and forth between my big screen and my small, because you're like this big on my phone, and over here, you're like that. So
there's one of my latest Range Masters. I'm going heavy on the fabric lately.
Yeah,
I'm digging the fabric enclosures that you did on this series, especially the trapezoid shapes that you're using on them.
Do you know what? I feel like these are going to be really.
Yeah, give us a full screen on that.
No, mate.
No full screen.
Let's have a look.
There you are.
Hello. So I've got these are the two that I've just finished.
Oh, nice.
Lovely.
And then obviously this one's got the transformer in and stuff. This one's a white jacket. Can I get it in there? A Mullard white jacket, OC 81D.
Yeah.
81D. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, the white jacket. And then this one's just an OC 81, but there you go.
There we go.
There you go.
Look at that.
Is that
it's a nice low HFE as well.
Is this perchance the kit that's still up for sale that you're showing us?
No, that's not.
It's a different one.
The kit.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I thought maybe that was like, here's the last. Okay.
No.
I thought maybe here's the last available.
Not £48.
I was gonna say, wait, somebody better jump on that fast.
Yeah.
Somebody better jump
on
that.
The thing is, that transistor's already, mate. You've tested that transistor, so it's worth way more because you know what
way more.
The leakage is and stuff.
They're always worth more tested.
That, people don't realize you're paying for the ones that you tested and threw away. Actually, I've just found that germanium
nice
circuit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Roberts ones.
Yeah. It's just
just
get one and then you just take everything out and then stick a nice little lamp in it. And then just take all the bits of components off that you want.
Yeah. I love repurposing stuff like that because it's everywhere.
Build something like
that. That's it, mate. Yeah.
And just completely gut it.
They're just perfect for practice amps, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, to
you get 5 Mullard transistors in each one.
Trying to build an enclosure like that yourself these days, I mean, you're investing thousands in woodworking tools and
mate, the corners are dovetailed and then rounded off. It's insane.
Like if you're trying to reproduce that on your own today, in your own little shop, I mean, you're going to spend 20 hours just making the box.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
years
exactly.
ago, I was doing a few is it the smoky amps, and
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
I found this today when I was looking through some stuff. Probably got a few of them left, but here we go. Basically, it's a box. Let's find the
Oh yeah,
wow.
laser cut.
Is
I
it
know
like-
exactly. Yeah,
Basically,
yeah, it's laser cut.
and you
It's dovetailed.
Yeah.
What?
Yep, I've seen those before.
Dovetailed.
Those are pretty neat.
yeah. I say I designed that
I
one.
feel like
years
you could
ago.
do pedals like that.
I must have been
you
your
could,
design that I saw, John, because I've seen that before. I was like, as soon as you pulled that out, I was like, oh, that's that laser cut
Yeah.
kit. So that was you.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool,
Yeah.
man.
yeah. Just basically just glue them together, and then put your little amp in it.
Mhm.
Little
That'd be a good gimmick for a kit.
2-inch speaker. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think I've probably got one of the original boxes somewhere. It'll be around somewhere anyway. I'll
Oh, here
probably
we
see it in
go.
a minute.
There's
I
one
wish I
from
still
Carlos.
had
He
the.
laser cuts boxes for his pedals.
Oh yay! Yeah, I mean, that's something that's like
Awesome.
becoming so available for us now.
Yeah.
Like to have our own CNC capability, our own laser cutting and engraving. The whole thing. It's
There's,
like stuff that was out of reach just a
Yeah.
decade ago.
There's a nice website
yeah,
called
definitely.
Box Designer.
Mhm.
And basically, you just put in the dimensions for your box, and click calculate, and it actually does an SVG or an EPS file with the actual castellation on the box. So then all
yeah.
you do is just import that into your art software, and then just modify it to whatever you need it. Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Wild.
Well, I'm saying simple, but
There's only
Say
one.
simple. You deal
I
with
was just about to
computers
say,
on a regular
there's only one
basis,
problem.
daily.
Yeah.
It's simple.
I
for
couldn't
you.
even get the live stream working 10 minutes ago.
It's just it's like Joe and I
Yeah.
were talking about the things that are easy for us and what's difficult for us, and it's like he says, "Yeah, man, like I don't understand why people think I'm just like." Well, think about it, Joe. Most people, like, to them, this is what they do, and then, so if it's outside of your wheelhouse, it seems impossible. But if it's something you do every day, it's just like, oh, this is a walk in the park,
Yeah.
mate. But it's a walk in the park you took for the
I
last 30
still-
years.
I still remember my lad. I mean, in 2017, so how old was he? Like 12 years old, showing me how to use Instagram because I wanted to make Hello Sailor effects. The Instagram account as opposed to Facebook, because I've been on Facebook since like 2009 or whatever. And he was like, "This is how you do it, Dad. This is how you post." And I was posting. He's like, "You're doing it wrong. There's no hashtags." I was like, "What the fuck is a hashtag?"
I know. Oh man.
And he was like, it's a hashtag, and then you say the word. I said, I thought that's just what people said when you're trying to be funny. He's like, no, it helps people find you in search. Like, all right, brilliant.
For the longest time, I had no idea what it meant to. Everybody's like, hashtag this, hashtag that. I'm like, yeah, it must be like some new like cool speak that I'm not hip to, and I realized, oh, they're actually putting hashtags on thing because it highlights it and becomes a hot link, and it's like, oh, it used to be hot link was what I heard. Hot link
Hot
this,
links,
hot
yeah.
link
Yeah.
that. Now they just start calling them hashtag. And it's like, okay.
And now
I'm still
apparently you
lost.
don't need them.
Yeah, apparently
No,
now
you
you
don't
don't
need
need them.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I did quite a bit of research on that for YouTube, and I can see why. You don't even need followers or subscribers now on YouTube. It's all AI based off watch history, and interesting.
yeah.
There's a whole science behind that thing. So I think YouTube's probably the hardest thing I've tried to get a foothold in. It's just it's hard to get the momentum.
Well, it's because you think you've got it figured out, and then they change the operating rules on you, and it's you're like you do everything right for one set of parameters, and then those parameters change, and suddenly everything that was right is now wrong, and you got to go back and like, oh, I've got to redirect it this way. And it was strange, like what started showing up just recently in my feed, like things that I would have wanted to watch it if I'd have known they even existed, but now they suddenly are available again. They're not buried in algorithmic, just churning.
Well, now's the best time to start because they're pushing smaller creators at the minute.
That's the
So you'll it's definitely a
woohoo for me.
I think I started.
I know. It's good to be the little guy.
Yeah. I had a couple of people comment on my video saying, I don't know how this come up in my feed, but I'm glad that I found your videos now. I'm like, they're definitely pushing small creators. They have to be.
Yeah. Maybe they went through, it's like, who've we been neglecting for too long? Let's give them a little bump so that we don't get looked at too seriously while they're looking at everything else.
Well, I think they're trying to future-proof, aren't they? The more people are making videos, the more content, the more ad revenue, the more money for them.
Well, and maybe the more the AI has to learn from before it takes all of our jobs. Like we better feed it all this now. Like,
that's a big wormhole.
That's what it is. We're the dregs of humanity that AI is devouring now. We're the last to be consumed. We're all the small stuff.
Mate, I think we're years away from finding an AI that can fall asleep behind a monitor like I can.
Oh, I don't know. There's an app for that.
Like, is it doing anything? I don't know. I think it's asleep. I'm saying that, but I'm definitely going to be doing that tomorrow.
I forgot what the
love it.
There was something. If something could, I forgot what my AI parameter was, but if something could do something and convince me that it was not an AI, then I knew it was game over. And I forgot what it was. It may have been on one of our podcasts. I said something about that. But if an AI can do this, then it's game over. If you can convince me that,
have you used it? Have you used like ChatGPT much, John? Or anything like that for your for designs? But both of you really.
I haven't used it for designs.
The plural.
I've tried using it, but I just don't think it hasn't quite got the gist of it. Yeah, you ask it to make a circuit, and then it gives you a full description of how to put the circuit together, and you think, no.
Oh man, I use it for. I think I've almost got shares in ChatGPT. I use it that much for just what was it doing the other day? I was trying to figure out what resistors I needed to use to make a 25k pot into a 10k pot, a 25k log into an anti-log, and I was like searching. I've got all the curves and stuff. I'm like, I think I know where I'm going with that. It's like, why don't I just ask ChatGPT? Done. In a second, it did all the maths in front of me and said, you need this resistor here. Like, good. I'm good with that.
Wow.
Like, that's what you've been designed for, to stop me from doing maths.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I used it. It was for the video on this. I spent like an hour trying to work it out. And then I thought to myself, why am I wasting my time for? I've got more productive things to be doing.
John and I were talking about this, before we went live, when you were still before you even came on the stream. We were talking about Star Trek, and for me, that's what I envision artificial intelligence to be like. Computer, give me this, and that what you just described. I like that application. It's the other application about where it's like kind of weaseling its way into your everyday life, where suddenly making decisions for you. You're like, oh, I didn't want that. Oh, wait, So when you're in control of the intelligence, that's one thing. When the intelligence is in control of you, it's a different thing, I guess. That's
exactly. Well, if AI
John
can
Pardo,
from John Pardo, if AI can tell the point on a volume pot to get the Hendrix classy tone. I tell you what, has anyone seen the pedal porn video where they talk to Hendrix from the grave?
Yes,
and it's like an AI generated
an AI generated Hendrix. It is.
Yeah.
But you can tell that it's AI, once it starts doing certain things. But then there's other times where it's like, whoa, that's a little too on the money. But they're taking direct samples of his voice and quotes that he gave in interviews.
Yeah,
at that
and then
point,
just reusing
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave Barry says, ask ChatGPT to show you the picture of a clock. It always shows 10 and 2. And that's because
10 and 2.
That's the way that they picture clocks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose. And fingers, it's not very good at drawing fingers, is it?
Yeah, something to do with the
sorry,
amount of pictures that there is of the clocks that are saying 10 and 2.
Yeah, because obviously that's how you advertise them.
Yeah.
And Carlos says that he uses it for enclosure art. Do you know what? I've used it for one enclosure art, one picture, and I like the picture.
It's actually
my
my avatar for YouTube is an AI generated image. That was one of 4 images that when I said to give me an image of a space wolf, that's one of the 4 that it gave me.
Oh, that's good.
Well,
Lakeshore Drive.
Wow.
Yep. The Lakeshore Drive.
Yep. Yeah.
Did you just type that in and say go? That's good.
It took me about 4 or 5 hours to get the prompts correct.
So that it would understand what you were looking for.
It gave me a selection of I think it's about 5 or 6 photos. And then basically I took all five photos, chopped all the bits out that I wanted, and then amalgamated them into one picture. So it is AI, but the end person putting them all together is human, which is the best way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something. Is like just struggling with the content creation aspect of things. Like if you let AI do everything, then it can claim rights to your end product at that point. And so I'm using it to maybe do steps, but my final thing, I'm doing the manipulation, or I'm even if I have to, I'll print the damn thing out and cut it out by hand and paste it to something and then run it off so that it looks human.
It's still being
I use it to teach me. Yeah, exactly. Like it's taught me SEO completely from the scratch. I didn't even know what SEO stood for. It sounds like some sort of detergent. I'd never heard of it, and then I think I stopped paying someone for SEO and started learning it myself. And I've used ChatGPT basically to teach me. I'll ask it to optimize something for a certain SEO, and then I'll say and give reasons, and then the reasons I'll read it, and then I understand it.
Cool.
That's my.
If I'd had AI back when I was still doing an office job many years ago, I would have been unstoppable. I'd have gone completely mental with it.
It's the new .com revolution. Have you ever asked her about yourself? Have you ever asked ChatGPT about yourself?
Yeah,
that's an interesting one.
What did it say? Information. Not
really?
Information.
See, unfortunately for me, there's so many John Mulhollands that there's so many information things about, so many rabbit holes to go down with my name alone because of certain things. So
well, you've come from halfway across the world. Your ancestors, haven't they? So but well, I did that Joe Halliday versus ChatGPT pedal build video, and one of my guitar friends sent me a video message of him asking ChatGPT about me, say who can design a better pedal, Hello Sailor Joe or ChatGPT? And I thought I'm fucked there for the start because it's got infinite knowledge. And it basically said something about Hello Sailor Joe's been building pedals for 15 years. He can use his ears and human intuition to fine tune a pedal better than I can. So ChatGPT conceded to me. Get in. I'll take that because I definitely couldn't.
That's because you have enough content out there talking about using your ears and being able to tell the difference in things that it did the research on you. And so it's like, I can't compete with that.
But in actual fact, though, in my video, the one that ChatGPT design sounded better. So it definitely beat me.
It beat you on that.
Well, I think it's.
But you handicapped yourself considerably in that video. I was like, it's not really a fair test because you weren't going, all out with what you're capable of doing. You handicapped yourself quite a bit.
Yeah, I was just
so
I stuck to the one circuit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I should have asked it to design me the ultimate range master.
there you go.
Beauty
Sorry, John,
comes from errors, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, something that's not perfect can sound absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's where I think AI will fall.
Mm-hmm. It won't be able to reproduce the flaws
for being perfect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's the Japanese
distortion
concept of the wabi-sabi. You know,
Yeah.
you strive for absolute perfection, but you always leave a mistake in because nothing can be perfect. You know, strive for perfection, but always leave a flaw.
That's what I'm doing with my videos. I was thinking of that, not making mistakes. It was all on purpose.
No, leave them in. It makes it more human.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
yeah,
people watch it will make mistakes and think, oh, well, Joe didn't make mistakes. But
yeah, exactly.
You leave it in, and it humanizes you. People can relate to that mistake.
Yeah. I get a lot of people who are actual proficient electrical engineers watching the videos, which is scary enough anyway. And one guy commented saying, it's interesting because the way that you do it's so unorthodox, but it works. Like, is that a way of saying that? I'm like, when you learn something, like learn guitar, you learn bad habits. My build style is a bad habit.
It's like the current middleweight champion in the UFC is like, everybody can't figure him out because he does everything wrong and it works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
It's like Duplessis. I mean, he fights so unorthodox. They're like, I can't stop this. It's not 1 2 1 2 3. It's like 1.5 3 4 5 7. It's like, okay.
How'd you fight someone who can't count?
Exactly. Pie.
Well, to be fair, that comes to the whole transistor thing. Like the way I do a fuzz face, Q1 lower, Q2 20 or 30 HFE higher. And then when I first started speaking to John Space Wolf, he said, oh, no, I do it the other way around. I do Q1 with a high number and Q2 with a low number. Like, wow. I mean, it sounds different. I wouldn't say better or worse, but it's definitely different. Mm-hmm. I think it's that unorthodox.
That's where I've always done it. Yeah. Lower Q1, higher
lower than Q1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, have you? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, I feel like
it's all on RG Keen's website.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to do more messing with that. I've become obsessed with doing hybrids lately. So like a silicon and a germanium,
Yeah.
If you get the right ones, you can get like the clean up, but still the sizzle.
The harmonic percolator circuit like threw me into that rabbit hole of doing hybrids, like taking a PNP germanium and NPN silicon and coming out with still a negative ground circuit. That's a pretty cool circuit to play with, for sure.
Well, I messed about with a small R value resistor on the emitter of Q1, which
that's cool.
Which lowers the gain slightly.
Mm-hmm.
I messed about that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But never really did much with it. But that's a way of lowering the gain compared to the Q2 gain.
Yeah. There's something about mixing transistors that just to go down another rabbit hole. This is another future video.
Oh yeah.
So so that's is Ava Vox, or what is it called? Something Vox. Oh, Revox.
Revox, yeah.
Revox and real to real. So I found like an article online where they transpose the preamp onto Vero board. Like there's like 3 different types of germaniums in there. Like, well, I'm definitely building that.
That makes me want to go find some of those old units too. now that I know there's germanium inside of it, I'm gonna go germanium mining. Uh-oh. I do have my mining cap
with 3
on.
different ones. Oh, look at this. Lenten guitars. It depends on how they react with different types of amps. Absolutely.
It is, yeah. And your pickups and like, so many things that factor in. It's not just one specific thing that makes it all work for sure.
How loud you play. I've had loads of customers buy Range Masters and try and use them with a high wattage Fender, and like it just sounds spiky, and that's because you've got the volume on 3, the amp isn't working, and you're slamming it with a load of upper mids. It's
the amp hasn't even gotten into its range yet, especially like when you're talking about valve amps. That was why
get it up to 5.
Yeah, that was why having the master volume on the Twin was such a revolutionary thing. Was that you were able to dial up your gain stage and get all that dirt, and you weren't able to you were able then to keep it from blowing your ears out, so you could control the volume. So
I really fancy trying one of the later ultra linear versions of the the silver panel Fenders. They did the whole
silver faces,
extra tap off the They did an extra tap off the transformer, didn't they?
Man, there's been so many different permutations and modifications. It's hard to keep up with all of them. But
I think that
if it was a transformer mod,
or something. It's like a hi-fi thing, isn't it?
Because that's where a lot of mods have happened, or a lot of variations is in the transformer, because that's such an important part of your amp.
That's everything.
Yeah.
When I bought my Fender, I was so happy when the original transformers were in there.
When you found the original one. Yeah.
Yeah, two of them 63 and 164 it is. So it's, I had a feeling, because I got it for such a good price, I had a feeling that it would be changed out. I tell you what, I see the classic tone transistors transformers going for ridiculous money at the minute, because they wrapped in COVID, didn't they?
I'm not sure. Yeah, there's so many things that I went to their website and suddenly found they didn't exist anymore. They'd merged into something else, and so it's one of those things. Until I need to find out, sometimes I'm not in the know.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with finding gear, or I get obsessed with, I don't know. It's the EP booster at the minute. I'm going to be going down that rabbit hole big time. I think part of me wants to build a tape delay of some kind.
I went into this minimalist rabbit hole. If I can get it out.
Is that the 2-string?
This is the 2-string, but I put a new headstock on it because it's a headless bass.
Oh yeah, I get you.
Yeah, but this is my my bridge. It's a crossbow bolt. Yeah, it was round.
What was the guitar originally?
It's a Sensonics bass, like a headless bass. It's like a cheap knockoff of the Court and the Steinberger. And it's like somebody gave it to me. And it's been in my collection for probably 20 or 30 years now almost. And never did anything with it. And I was like, somebody had tried to restring it left-handed at one point, and they got the G string on and quit. And so after that, it probably sat in my collection in the back of my shop for 20 years. And I was like, I wonder. So I pulled it apart and took some old bass strings, threw it on there, plugged it in, and it worked. I was like, okay. So,
class. I really want another Flying V. I sold mine stupidly. There's such easy guitars to play on.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call this a V. This is more like a flying it's it's sort of like an A on its side.
I got
Flying wing.
The flying wing, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. Haven't Gibson come out with a new body shape that's sort of like an offset A? Looks like a Star Trek badge.
No, it's kind of, that reminds me of the Charvel That's the Jackson shape.
Yeah.
Is the
Roswell Rhodes? That was like the
the Rhodes shape, because he kind of had that like asymmetrical V.
Mm.
Yeah, this one's like less angular, like less. So instead of it, like the V is like quite straight looking. This one isn't, and I bet you I can't find it now.
He said there was a flying V in cash converters recently down in Burco, bro. The death dealer put that in the messages if you're looking for one.
Oh, that's my hometown. That's why. Mm-hmm. So this is what I'm on about.
Oh yeah. That looks almost like the Randy Rhodes. That's totally like a Randy Rhodes ripoff. Yeah, that's that's probably
without the crop circle inlays.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
That was an awesome guitar.
It's not my sort of thing, right? What, the Randy Rhodes?
Yeah.
Oh, those were just like cream of the crop. His signature model.
What are we talking about? The polka dot one? Is that what we're?
Well, they had that one.
The Jackson.
The Charvel Jacksons.
Yeah. Later they bought out the aluminium body one, didn't they?
They put an aluminum one out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For the sustain.
I don't know. I prefer the Les Paul. I think he should have stuck with where he was. I'm too much of a traditionalist. Yeah, there's a guy that got took away too young, didn't he?
He was, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Riff Amps was doing a UL basement over Christmas. I watched that series. That amp was a basket case, and he managed to get it going. It was like it looked like animals had been living in it. It's not good.
Rat's nest.
I don't know. Yeah, it literally was.
Yeah.
I've opened up cases where that was the case. There was something inside or recently inside. Left itself, traces of everything.
Oh man.
I
feel like I need a new project like that, like some sort of guitar or like something old.
Something
to bring it back to life.
Oh man. Well,
yeah, like an old basket case and
like
just
or a Hofner or something like that.
Yeah, like a Hofner or something like that, and just so then it's like completely worthless and just bring it back to there. I was looking at them, the Kalamazoo guitars. Have you seen them?
The ones that are from the 60s.
They're like balsa wood bodies or whatever.
No, balsa.
I really like the look of them.
Are you talking about the electrics?
Looks like an SG a bit. Yeah, it looks a bit like an SG.
Yeah, that's actually a medium density fiberboard type body. It's like a composite of
is it?
Wood fiber. Yeah, I've owned several of them. And
you could always do a
what's the neck shape like?
It's like a baseball bat fender neck. Like they were supposed
really?
to be,
I like that.
They were supposed to be like the competition with Fender, because Gibson was getting killed by Fender with their their price point, being able to manufacture bolt-on necks, and Gibson was all sit neck. This was supposed to be their answer to the Strat, and they cut a lot of corners. No, it was not an answer. It was like an insult to the Strat, basically. But you can get some really cool vintage components. You can get some cool Gibson pickups out of them. You can get like really cool wraparound tailpiece bridges, that kind of thing. But yeah, they're pretty fun to restore. But you'll find a lot of them because they're pretty much craptacular. Nobody really.
Lenson Guitars says try a Harmony guitar. They're definitely not cheap.
Yeah, they were cheap ones.
Some of them. I like the hollow or semi-hollow ones.
Mm-hmm.
You could try Supro. They did the
Supros,
fiberglass bodies.
Supro.
The fiberglass bodies.
Yeah. You can go pay a couple
like
$1,000.
The old Jack White.
Yeah. You go pay a couple $1,000 for one of those because of Jack.
Yeah.
The same guitar that you paid $250 for, like suddenly after he was playing it was $2,500.
To be fair though, they are good looking guitars.
Oh yeah, but they're a nightmare.
Like a 60s car.
They are a nightmare to work on and maintain. Like you got to be dedicated to
Yeah.
wanting to play that guitar if you're going to own one, and you're going to play it.
Oh, really?
If you're going to play it, you
Yeah.
better know what the hell you're buying, because it's not going to stay the way you think it's going to stay. There's a reason why they were so cheap at one point.
Mm.
You get what you pay for, mate. And if you're paying for if you're paying for hype, you're just going to get hype. So
maybe stick to a remake if you want that cheaper guitar. But I don't know. I feel like I need a project. I built the Flying V. I built
an Eastwood remake. An Eastwood remake would be a better investment if you want to play it and have the look than to go buy an original and try and keep that thing maintained, especially the fiberglass ones.
Or even the new Supro guitars. Have you seen them? They do like a single pickup Les Pauly type guitar with a gold foil in it. They look cool.
Oh yeah,
something like that. Maybe refinish it.
And what I would look
I don't
for,
actually need another guitar.
I would go look for some of the old Japanese stuff, like lawsuit guitars, like the
that's a hell of
Tokai, and you know,
they're expensive now, though, aren't they?
Not as expensive as what they're capable of, like putting in its place. Man, I had a Greco that I paid $880 for, and it smoked $5,000 Les Pauls all day long.
I like the look of the Orville.
Orville, yep, I've played those. It was the Fujigen Gaki factory when they hit their stride in the 80s. That's the reason why like Gibson panicked and everybody else panicked, is they were putting them in like a shameful position because they were producing guitars that professionals wanted to play rather than the big name American companies. I mean, Cheap Trick even said something famously on their live at Budokan recording. The first thing he did was, I bought me a Japanese guitar. So.
The problem is the import taxes.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the problem with everything. That's the reason why you guys.
When I was out in Japan, I should have bought one.
Yeah,
that's what I should have done. That was a silly mistake.
But you might be able to find like some of the old Teisco stuff too, like some of the 60s and early 70s Teisco stuff. Those are really fun to take and just mutate into whatever you want. Like I've probably transformed like 30 or 40 of those into monsters, and they have the gold foil pickups and
that's a thing.
I mean,
I've never owned a gold foil.
Never owned a gold foil pickup?
My old boss had he took a Strat, gutted it, and he does a lot of woodwork. Like he reshaped it and stuff, and did gold foils and stuff in it.
You know what a gold foil pickup is? You want to know the secret to the gold foil pickup? You take a ceramic bar magnet, you take coated wire, you wrap that sucker in coated wire by hand until you get it to just big enough to fit inside that pickup case. You connect one end to positive, one end to negative, and you got a pickup. It's a magnet wrapped in wire. That's why they sound so. It's because your windings are not perfect. You're getting like all that strange magnetic field flux, and it's the secret. It's like it's imperfection. It's imperfection that's perfect, is what it is. They're the most mass.
It also explains why they haven't got a high output.
Yep, that's why they're low impedance. And same thing with lipstick pickups. That's what a lipstick pickup is. They wrapped a bunch of wire around a magnet, shoved it in a tube, and stuck that on a Dan Electro. So,
how cool was
anybody that's
Stevie Ray's guitar?
Anybody that's selling you gold foil pickups for ridiculous amounts of money, or selling you snake oil.
There you go.
Hand wound pickup. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
But sound amazing. They do.
They do. And
did you buy it yourself? This is John.
Oh, I'd imagine so.
I used to do them myself. Yeah.
That's class.
I can't do it now because my eyes are too bad. But yeah, I think they turn out to
is anyone
3 or 4K.
Acrylic Ampegs? Has anyone seen them?
Yeah. The acrylic Ampeg guitars and basses, they were heavy as they're like.
So are they a bit like the what's the one that the guy from Aerosmith, Joe Perry has? It's an acrylic guitar. Dan Armstrong. That's what I'm thinking of.
Plexiglass.
Is it the same as that?
Yeah. Dan Armstrong worked for Ampeg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. That's
Okay.
what he's referring to. The Ampeg acrylics are Dan Armstrong designs. I played in a band with a guy.
I feel like they.
I played in a band with a guy who had one of the Ampeg acrylic basses, and whenever I put that thing on, it nearly dragged me to the floor. I was like, "What the hell? I mean, you're talking about a giant piece of lucite like that, you know?" But it was cool.
Tone, though.
Oh, it was really cool when you played it. And it was fretless too, so it was like had this really cool warm sound. But the Armstrong design pickup what really made it. Like Dan Armstrong's pickup designs were awesome.
Yeah. Didn't you do it so you could switch them out or slide them along or something like that?
On some of the models, I mean, it just depends. Like he was always tinkering with stuff. Like he was a constant inventor. So it's like Leo Fender. He was always trying different things. So
it's good if you get something like that and you're going to keep it as its own thing, but it kind of annoys me that you couldn't swap out the pickup for something else if you wanted to, or because it's like even a different shape, or like Cream Tea does a guitar where the pickup's going to unclip and you just clip another one in. But I'm like, well, what happens if all the pickups that they make you don't want? What do you do then?
Yeah,
I like having just a P90 and then you can change it for any P90.
Yeah, proprietary design is just a way for companies to try and either ensure their own downfall or ensure that you have to keep coming back to them. If it works, you have to keep coming back to them. If it doesn't work, then it's not a company anymore. That's what proprietary design is.
What I normally do is buy loads and loads of pickups, never be happy with them, and then buy some Bear or Monty's, and then I'm happy. It's usually the route to go. I go try something else, and then I go, I'll stick like a Monty's Path in there, and like, oh, there's the one I was looking for. And same with some Bear. Like, unreal. He built me the P90 humbucker set for my gold top, and it's just like as soon as I had a set in there, as soon as I took them out, I think I had Seymour Duncan's in there, but and put these in, it's like, oh my god, hello. It's like a completely different thing. Yeah, madness. It's all in the pickups anyway. Wood has nothing to do with it.
Just upgraded my Squire. I got a Squire Strat, and I bought. I'm cheap. I bought some Texas Blues. Is it 63 pickups, like the copy of the Fender ones? Fiber boards, Linko 5 pickup, Linko 5 magnets, all hand wound. I think they were 27 quid for the set from AliExpress.
Oh wow!
There you go.
And sound amazing.
Yeah, these were
oh wow.
These were used, right?
No, brand new.
Brand new for 27 quid.
Yeah.
What?
Mad.
Yeah.
Those are counterfeit. Have to.
Yeah, they are counterfeit.
Like you said, when you said AliExpress,
they're from China.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But
really
good pickups.
I've got the exact same set in my Made in Mexico Strat, and they're amazing. Like they're my favorite single coils that I've got so far.
Clean.
Yeah, they clean up when you dial a fuzz face back. It's just like it's that tone. It's the Stevie Ray tone.
But yeah, it was a nice purchase.
Yep.
Yeah,
wow.
Definitely. Especially if you've got like a Squire Strat and it's improved.
Yeah, upgrade.
Squire makes some brilliant guitars. They're way better than their price point.
I've also previously in the past do your Squire pickups. You have the sonic bar magnet at the bottom, don't you? Or basically you knock it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. You knock out the pole pieces, and then you buy your Linko 5 off eBay.
Yeah.
And you put them back in and super them back in. Brilliant upgrade.
Wow.
It's cheap to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it improves pickup.
That's a pretty cool little hack. Yeah.
You can some Bear used to sell the correct carbon content. This is how geeky I am. Carbon content Alnico pole pieces or bars for humbuckers on his website. So you could essentially buy the metal that he's using and put them in your Squire Strat.
Yeah.
Some of them Squire Strats are worth a fortune now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've got the neck on my 63 body is a Japanese Squire Strat neck from the 80s, and it feels just like an original 63 neck.
Yeah.
I mean,
there you
that
go.
was the thing. Like when Fender Japan came about in the 80s, that was a game changer, man. That was like what saved Fender.
Yeah.
And literally, there were no U.S. made Fenders for 1 year because it was all Fender Japan that 1 year because they were retooling the shop after CBS. And yeah, this was when was it Smith and all the other employees took back over, and that was when the Smith Strats came out and all that. So yeah, right around that time frame in the early 80s. Yeah, I remember everybody like freaking out because it was the death of Fender. You can't buy an American Fender. There's all Jap Fenders. And it was just like, and then now they're worth a fortune.
Exactly. I mean, not all CBS guitars were bad. I'm not defending by CBS guitar, of course, but no,
not all of them. No,
there's some of them anniversary ones that like we're silver, but mostly have turned gold now. You know them, and they have like anniversary on the horn. Some of them, well, there used to be a blind guy that played in Liverpool City Centre every Saturday, and he sit himself down with his dog or whatever and just play guitar through one of them. It sounds amazing.
I mean, I've played on a lot of 70s 3-bolt necks that I liked, but then there's a lot of them that I didn't like, and it was the inconsistency. It's like you couldn't just go get any one. You had to like go through a whole bunch of them to find one that they didn't mess up on, or that the templates hadn't been worn out. The neck profiles got so narrow because they kept reusing the same templates, and the bearings kept wearing out and wearing out. So yep, you're getting thinner and thinner profiles, and so
I think if I had to choose my ideal preference, it'd be a large headstock with 4 bolts. You know, in that little transition period. I think that would be probably the one I'd go for. I seeing Hendrix at Woodstock, it's like you've got to have the
late 60s. The late 60s, those are pretty sweet.
Yeah, unbelievable. They wear for bloody fortune now as well. It's pointless even trying to get one in there. I remember large headstock meant that you could get it for real cheap.
Yeah, Dave Simpson's got a 63 Strat. It sounds amazing. It does.
There's a guy that I bumped into him in Birmingham as I was literally packing up and walking outside. He was sat on the, and I come out. I had a guitar in my hand, boxes in. I was like, "Oh my god, it's Dave Simpson!" Thrusting my guitar, and he's like, "Oh shit, hello." Never met him in my life.
Yeah,
I was like, "Let me get a picture. Don't move." I don't know. I just accosted him while he was trying to like chill out.
I live about 25 minutes away from him, so
there you go.
I'd love to go and see him play live.
Yeah,
I think he played last year's Birmingham guitar show, but obviously I was a vendor, so I couldn't go and watch him. Fuck. Yeah, he's definitely got that Hendrix sort of vibe to his playing style, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's just his whole personality is just amazing. Yeah, and the way he plays guitar, he just grip and rip it, and he anything he plays, it just sounds amazing.
Yeah. His YouTube channel's class.
Yeah.
So I don't subscribe to a lot of channels, but he's definitely one of them. The video that he did going to Marshall, to the factory and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
What a day out that must have been. Imagine being the Marshall rep guy who has to show around.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane. Even going through all them old amps when they're on that like top shelf thing. There's like super rare amps owned by Jimmy. Like what the that's mad.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
So what
I feel
I was going to say, a thought that
John.
Popped into my head. What's probably like some of the strangest enclosures that you've tried to put pedals or amps and things in your time, John?
That's a good point.
Probably hubcaps. I did the telephone one. Back for Room of Tone. That was awesome. That one.
I'm glad you reminded me of that. Like that was one that when I saw that, I was like, oh, this guy is onto something really cool here.
Yeah, because it was an original BT phone as well, British Telecom's phone.
Yeah, so that makes it even cooler.
All the mechanism inside was all metal. And I managed to use the original switch on it and put that to a relay, so that when you lifted the phone off,
it actually activated
the relay
and
switches the effect on. So and you put it back down, and it goes back into bypass. I was like for ages, how am I going to do this?
Yep.
And then I was like,
and the coolest one that Joe did, and according to the Death Dealer's comment, there is the gas mask.
Oh yeah, that was a bit of a weird one.
That was really inspired. The fact that it was still wearable too, that you could. I don't think you intended for it. I don't think you intended for it to be.
No,
He put it on. He put it on in the video as soon as he got it, and I was like, "Yeah, that's what I would do. I'd wear the damn thing to the show and hope I didn't get shocked." But I am the guy who. I mean, that's the way Generation X thinks. It's like, yeah, let's try that. If we die, cool. If we don't, even better.
He's such a funny guy, Marcus. He's very, very funny. I think I met him because he did a YouTube sketch taking a piss out of me. Yeah, he's like, what guy?
There you go.
Yeah, he's like coming up with pedal ideas, and then he had a wig on pretending to be me. And
I also did an enclosure that was basically looked like a clock dial that had a stirrup underneath it, and then it went into a standard base. But the clock dial was actually off a farmer's tool. Do you know when farmers have to test what water's in the grain? They put it in like a bottle, then you cramp it up, and then you can see how much on the dial, how much water's actually in the grain.
Mm-hmm. Like a hygrometer type thing.
Yeah, like hygrometer. Yeah, and I built an effect into that, then used the stirrup that came off it, that went into a base, and then basically two an in and out cable that came out the back of the clock thing into the base of the pedal, and that looked absolutely amazing. It looked like something out of a 1950s alien film or something.
Oh
like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like those
that's class.
Like that space age retro kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Jetsons kind of design.
Mm.
Someone sent me a link to a listing of a Harrier jump jet radio that was for sale on Facebook. You're like, that would be amazing for a pedal, and a little out of my price range for an enclosure, but I was thinking that would be fucking class. You don't even have to paint it then, do you? You just use the existing holes for stuff.
Yeah, I've got some like fluorescent orange emergency transponders from aircraft that I'm going to turn into enclosures, because they're really nice, solid. Cool. Meant to withstand a small plane crash. So.
Uncle Dan's vinyl. There's a call the Argentinians on that. Don't think they'd be too happy at them. Especially as they're pushing for the islands back. Oh. One of my mates is married at a Falklander, a girl from the Falklands. So. And he drew Argentina in our World Cup draw last. And he was like, I'm not fucking having it. I think he swapped it with someone for like, I don't know, someone who clearly weren't going to win. Love it. Funnily enough, Mark was taking a piss out of me trying to one of the guitar shows. He made up this pamphlet, like taking a piss out of Northerners. And he said, do you mind if I do a video with you? He didn't tell me. And he pulled it out and started trying to take the mick out of me, and then used Maggie Thatcher as a way of doing it, because Northerners usually hate her. But doesn't bother me. I'm in the military, mate. We won the Falklands. I can live with that. No, I didn't work down on mine. I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Well, that has been 2 hours, folks, and I've got my wife texting me saying, "Hurry up!" I know. I feel like we need to redo this over, mate, at some point, or do like an All Stars episode and get a few of the regulars in.
Yeah, I mean,
we keep saying this.
We're getting we're getting a pretty good cast of characters, I think, that keep showing up, and so I think we're on to something. And there's enough weirdos like us out there that want to, talk about these things. We can keep it going for a little while as long as there's internet to do it.
I think Simon's basically got shares in the Pedal Dive podcast now, hasn't he? He's been on that many times.
He must, yeah. I mean, he's our all-time record holder besides you and me.
Late night Simon or Simon?
Well, both.
Well,
both.
It starts off as Simon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the time the podcast is over, it's late night Simon all the way there.
Dave Barry, Joe's in for a good night. The missus is calling. Mate, I'm married. I'm married with a 5-year-old daughter, mate. I don't even know I forgot what that's like.
That's what one of my friends said. The best birth control that they ever discovered was having a kid.
Oh, man.
I'm 40
years old. In fact,
exactly.
I know, exactly. Well, that would involve running around and stuff. I couldn't handle that. I turned 40 on Friday, so I wonder if that once a year special occasion. Now, what was I thinking? A 5-year-old child at 40 years old. Tough.
Hey.
Anyway, thank you to everyone who's been in the live stream. I'm going to have to sign off there. I've been Hello Sailor Joe.
I've been Space Wolf John Mulholland.
And I've been Hubcap John.
Cheers, team.